You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and this week on the show we have... No, that wasn't what I was going to say that we have. In fact, I didn't even realise we had that. What is that? Oh, it's a ghost, isn't it? Or is it a goat? It sounds sort of like both. Is it a ghost? Could be a goat. Linda, do you think that's a ghost or a goat, Linda? What do you reckon, Linda? Is it a spooky bleat or a ghostly bar? Where is Linda? Who is Linda? Maybe it's just the sound of the wind blowing through a toy drum kit or some roadworks outside, but, you know, they're doing it all while on a trampoline. I'm really not sure. I've not heard it before. What I am sure of this week, though, listeners, is that there is a brand new competition. As you'll hear soonish, this week's most important guest is the author Emily Jane Clark, and she has got 2 amazing books out right now called The Beasts of Knobbly Bottom, Attack of the Vampire Sheep, which has been nominated for a Waterstone Children's Book Prize, and the recently released sequel, Rise of the Zombie Pigs. They are both very, very funny, absolutely brilliant stories, and they feature some horrifying farm animal monsters. Wow, those roadworks really are going on a while, aren't they? So here at Comedy Club for Kids HQ, I have 3 bundles of both of Emily Jane Clark's books to give away to whoever sends in their funniest idea for a ridiculous monster animal. In Knobbly Bottom, there are vampire sheep and zombie pigs. What other creatures would make hilariously weird monsters? Get your sludgy wrinkle butts, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk with your ideas, and the best 3 will win. Please send them in before April the 17th, and I'm afraid once again this is just for listeners in the UK or Ireland, or probably Jersey and Guernsey, or if you're a fish that lives in the bit of the Norwegian Sea past the Orkney Islands, I'm sure we could get a book in a waterproof bag and get it to you. Maybe, possibly. Let me just check out the window. No, there's no roadworks there. That is very weird. Oh well, there is a lot of mail this week, so I'm going to have to ignore that noise for now and get on with reading the messages from you. First up, we have this lovely 5-star review on Apple Podcast that's been sent in by I Love Cats, or to say their real name, Linda. What? Linda? Really? Linda says, "Hi, it's Linda. Thanks for the episode. It's Linda. I'm sure you remember that I'm a dodo, orangutan, chipmunk, turkey, cat, hippo, seal, cheetah that stole an avocado from Donald Trump. I do remember that. That was a few weeks ago. Linda's very busy. Then she says, I'm coming to work today. I couldn't come because my seal tail kept getting in the way. Yeah, that makes sense. It must be hard to take your seal tail on a train. And I hate work. I will be here in exactly 1 minute, so look out with your animal observing binocular. Bye. Well, actually, hi, because I'm in the stinky hippo area. Look out." Well, if you hate work, Linda, maybe you shouldn't turn up. That's quite sad to know, but I guess we'll see, and maybe we can discuss it when you get here. I'm still not sure that's our Linda, but then she says she is, which is weird, because she's never said anything when I've asked her before. But thanks for the review, and I guess I'd better look out with my animal observing binocular, so here we go. Oh, that's weird. I can't see any sort of Linda, but I can see a goat that I couldn't see before. Or is it a ghost? It's very pale. Maybe it's an unwell goat. Maybe it's a really well ghost. It looks happy enough, though, whichever it is. Okay, well, let me read some more of these messages. Obviously, that ghost seems all right at the minute. So this is a nice 5-star review from Panda, who, strangely enough, seems to definitely not be a panda. They say, "Jellyfish are cool. Hi, I am a jellyfish and I am cool." I bet you are. Of course you are. You're a jellyfish. Then they say, "This is how to say radio nonsense in jellyfish language. Smelly feet, blah, 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 blah." Wow. thanks, Panda the jellyfish. Are all jellyfish named after other animals? Is that how it works? Are there any pandas called jellyfish? So many questions. But I'm very pleased you've got in touch with your jellyfish language lesson. I have to say, I am slightly worried that once again the Comedy Club for Squids will accuse me of stealing their listeners. Not that I blame you, because their podcasts are super boring. This week, here's how to hide from an eel in some rocks. No one cares. Oh, hang on, that's a point. Oi! Ghost, goat, goat, ghost. Are you from Comedy Club for Kids, but you know where the kids are goats, not children? Because if so, I'm sick of them spying on me. Can you just leave me alone? So weird. Also, this week, a big thanks to Magramphadu, who gave the show a nice 5-star review and just put the best 10/10, which, thank you. I assume it means 10 out of 10, unless they mean 10 divided by 10, and then that's just 1, isn't it? Which isn't as nice. But I think you mean 10 out of 10. I've got quite a few more reviews and mail here, actually, so let me just take a look and read those to you. Hey! Those are not for you to eat, ghost, goat, goat, ghost, ghost, goat, ghost, ghost. Shoo! Oh, that's ruined me reading out the post. I'm sorry to anyone that's said things in. It's now been eaten by a ghost goat. If you'd like to review the show, then please do that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Audible, or a lot of other places too. And it does help other listeners find this show, just so that they too can be warned about ghost goats eating their post goats. Their post ghost? Their ghost post ghost goats. What are you eating now? Stop it! Also, listeners, if you have any questions you need to have answered, or you want to send in anything else, including a competition entry to win one of Emily Jane Clark's brilliant books, one bundle, in fact, you get to win both, then do ask your sludgy wrinkle butts, sorry, I do mean grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. If those same grown-ups want to support this show, they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition for a small fee on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Acast Plus, and everybody that signs up helps me, I guess, buy some ghost goat defense systems of some sort. Stop it! What was that you've just eaten now? Was that the fridge? Were all the stinky hippos inside? Oh, my goodness. Okay, while I deal with this ghost goat thingy, you have a listen to this most important bit with Emily Jane Clark.
Demonstrate for you the difference between goat and ghost.
I am very excited that on today's show, I am joined by Emily Jane Clark, aka Emily Jane, who often thinks about driving a train, aka Emja Clarkies, the world's greatest finder of car keys, and as all of our horse listeners know you, no. But of course, Emily Jane, many will know you for your campaign to get 4 fairground big wheels to line up together so someone can build a cart around them, pulled by a giant horse, for starting the legendary Nestival, a festival where birds from all around the world can build a nest and then listen to top musicians from up a tree, and most famously for your lifelong mission to return all the missing middle bits to donuts all around the world. Emily Jane, it's so lovely having you on the show. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, do you know what? I am good today. Actually, I'm feeling. I've had tea. I've had crisps. Things are looking bright.
Good. Crisps for breakfast is a winner.
I would. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. I think crisps could work as almost any. There's certain foods that I think could work as almost any meal of the day. I think crisps are one of them.
I'm assuming you do what I do, and you put the crisps in a bowl and then milk on them.
Yeah,
so then it feels like that's breakfast crisps, isn't it? Dinner crisps, you might have it with a bit of gravy.
Yes.
But your breakfast crisps, I'd go, milk on, bit of sugar.
I think you've said what is key is that pretty much any food can be any meal depending on what you put on it.
Exactly, that's the rules, isn't it? That's like
that is the rules. That is.
It was
the official rules. Anything with milk on it is breakfast instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Chips.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, a whole roast. I've had a whole roast chicken, just splattered a bit of milk on it in the morning before. I was a bit hungry. So
pizza covered in milk, breakfast pizza. Yeah, it's.
You name me something that doesn't work covered in milk in a cereal bowl, and I will eat that.
Do you know what? I'm going to try and. You see, what about like a hedgehog?
Bit prickly, but actually the milk softens the bristles, I find.
Yeah.
So warm, actually, top tip, if you're going to have a hedgehog for breakfast, warm milk. That kind of softens the bristles, you see?
Yes.
So they're underrated actually for breakfast, but they they do set you up for the day, in my opinion.
That's good. Do you know what? You're a professional at this. This is, this is one of the reasons I've got you on the show. I shouldn't have questioned Hedgehog at all. You're absolutely right.
So yeah, exactly. I'm a bit of an expert on breakfast. So
well, it's so exciting having you here. Have you been very busy lately? What's been going on in Emily Jane Land?
Yeah, I have been very, very busy with my knobbly bottoms, my books, and my actual bottom is quite knobbly as well. So that's been, I've had requests to go around and sort of, so people can see this, my knobbly bottom. And I think they're talking about my book, but actually they just want to see my actual knobbly bottom. So I'm, the king, I got a letter from him this morning saying, I hear the knobbliest bottom in Britain.
Right.
You come along and we can have a look. That they do. Obviously this is royalty. You do keep keep some. I wear some sort of trunks.
Sure.
The knobbles.
Yes, like that makes sense. They sort of have to show an artist depiction of a knobbly bottom.
Oh yes, I would never go. They don't. No one wants to see the naked flesh of a knobbly bottom. Sure. As long as it's something that will just show off my bum knobbles, then that's fine.
But I mean, it's a fascinating. I mean, I don't want to upset you. It is the reason I asked you on this podcast, because we haven't had a guest with knobbly bottom before, and it was. It was sort of the thing. I had to kind of fill the criteria of, when I was looking at the guest list of like what everyone's done. I thought, well, we haven't had anyone with knobbly bottom. I had to ask you along, so I hope you don't feel.
No, it's okay. Do you know what? I'm used to it now. I know that it's the actual bottom people want to talk about, not the books. So that's fine. Yes. I'm happy to talk knobbly bottoms and give you any tips if you want to. If you like a few knobbles on your bot.
Well, I would like to know, because one of the things I would love to know is, with a knobbly bottom, I sort of wondered what the benefits are. Can you use it to? Like, is it useful as a kind of like a climbing wall for small insects? Is it does it mean that you can sit on knobbly surfaces because the knobbles on your bottom sort of even it out? How does it work?
Exactly right. Like, have you ever been to a beach, like a pebbly beach? I can just slot my bottom right on. Everyone's sort of moaning, oh god, they're so uncomfortable. I can just slot my knobbles in amongst the pebbles. I can do imprints in sand as well on a sandy beach, which goes down well with the kids. So there's lots of benefits, and actually it's quite comfortable sitting with a knobbly bottom. It's almost like having a massage. Just wiggle about a bit.
Right.
And you get your own free bum massage. So it's a lot.
Remarkable. But do you have to buy sort of like and I'm so sorry if this is too personal a question, but do you have to buy kind of like special reinforced pants? Do you have to buy like knobbly pants, because it must be quite on knobbly trousers?
No, don't be. I'm not embarrassed about this. I've talked about this. I'm a big believer in underwear shouldn't be just for the general flat bottom. It should be for all kinds of bottoms. So but I am, since my knobbly bottom fame, I'm lucky enough to have my own knicker tailor now. So they do design me special underwear, that lets the knobbles actually breathe, and sort of, so there's little holes for each knobble, which is wonderful. So,
yes, it's very important.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to let your knobble breathe. That's how they thrive.
Yes. So. Do you think is because I don't know if you've met anyone like this. I've met people with knobbly knees.
That's a bit last year. Those are.
Is it right? Sorry. Okay. I didn't.
They're not the. No, it's not the same. That's very old hat. Knobbly knees now. No one cares about knobbly knees. Knobbly bottoms is the way forward.
Right, but that's what I was going to say. You don't sort of aspire to kind of be knobbled everywhere, because I think like if there must be kind of advantages to being entirely knobbly. I suppose I was trying to think of what animals are like. Armadillos are quite knobbly, aren't they? Sort of everywhere.
That's true. I mean, I haven't yet experimented with growing knobbles on other places, but I'm open to it. Maybe a few tummy knobbles, knobble heads. So, but who knows what the future holds? There's lots of opportunities, I think.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that you have been able to do so much with such a knobbly bottom, and really, I don't know if any of our listeners out there have knobbly bottoms or just are indeed armadillos. But hopefully that they've got someone out there talking
Yeah,
for them,
yeah,
and that's very
exactly.
important.
That's my dream. That's my dream.
It's a beautiful dream. It's a wonderful, beautiful dream. Well, that is fantastic. I was going to ask as well, because you mentioned stony beaches earlier. Is that your? I don't normally ask people this. Is that your beach preference? Do you have a?
It is actually, yeah, and not just because of the novels. It's I just like I like the feel of the stones rather than sand. I don't like sand. Absolutely hate sand. If I had my way, I would get all the sand and chuck it onto Mars or something.
Wow.
No good comes from sitting on sand. It goes everywhere, especially when you've got a knobbly bottom. It doesn't just go in the usual places. There's other places for it to get stuck. So so I am actually sort of on a bit of a campaign at the moment. I mean, what is the point of sand? What is the point?
It's too small, isn't it? Like, I sort of think if it was really good, then it would be less small. Like, why is it so tiny? Why doesn't sand come in big chunks? And what are you meant to do with it? And it just gets everywhere.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. The sand timer business might suffer. If there was no sand. But I'm sorry, genuinely sorry for the sand timer people. But I think the pros outweigh the cons.
Do you know what? You're right. I'm trying to think of like other things wouldn't work in a sand timer as well. Like, you couldn't put sort of apples in there.
No, I've tried frozen peas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad actually, and it looks quite pretty as well. So so I'd recommend that. That's what I'm calling for all the sand timers to be changed to frozen peas. So
that's lovely. Would you like beaches? Would you like the sand on beaches to be replaced with frozen peas?
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Not only have you got somewhere comfortable to sit, you can have a little nibble of the, nice healthy peas as well while you're there. The only thing is kids do tend to put peas up their nose. So is that a worry? Is that something we need to look at maybe? Health and safety gone mad these days, isn't it? You can't even stick peas up your nose anymore. I mean,
it's also, how else are you meant to eat them?
Well, a few people I've heard put them up their bum instead.
That doesn't sound great.
Exactly. Crazy.
That doesn't sound great at all. Yeah. No, I think you've got to put peas up. Yeah. I don't know. I think if listeners are hearing this and they've got a more sensible way of eating peas, then I suppose they go for it. But I've always thought peas up the nose, bananas in the ears.
Of course. There's exactly when it comes to, fruit and veg, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that is right. Just as long as you're having your 5 a day, doesn't really matter how you eat them. Yeah.
I mean, all the, they never specify, do they, where you put your 5 a day. They just say make sure you get 5 a day. So as far
that's true. But I've often thought as well, they never really say, like we say, oh, it's got to be fruit and vegetables, but they never say what it is actually 5 a day of. It could be like 5 a day of shoes. It could be 5, I don't know, airport control towers a day. It could be, they never say, I always hear you got to have your 5 a day, but they never say you got to have your 5 fruit and veg a day.
Well, that's very true, actually. It could be anything. It's only when you look at the small print, it specifies. But actually, I don't mean to boast, but I don't need to have my 5 a day ever again. Wow. I did it all in one day. I did about, I think, 625 billion oranges in one day. So I figured I'm done now. Wow. So yeah, I know. I'm quite proud of that.
That is amazing. What was that? Did you feel good after eating that many oranges?
Oh yeah, I mean, it took time. Don't get me wrong. To fit that's a lot of oranges in one day. I had to have help. I had someone peeling them, and then I even carried on eating them when I was on the toilet in the bar. I just carried on. I was dedicated to do that. But afterwards, obviously your bowels get a bit loose. so to speak. But yeah, I mean, some have even said maybe that's why I got knobbly bottom, because of all the oranges make their way somewhere. But so, it's benefited me in so many ways. I would recommend that to you. So then you don't have to.
I like oranges, and also, and you get it's vitamin C, isn't it? Which is like the letter C. It's not like the sea, the ocean sea. I think that's a different. Anyway,
The letter C is the best letter as well. So
oh, is it?
Yeah. It's like,
why is that?
It's do you not know that? I'm surprised you don't know this.
No, I don't know this at all. No.
It's actually just won the best letter in the world award. Yeah, I know. So basically, you want to be eating stuff with C in it, vitamin C, or just beginning with C. So
what was the reason? Because I suppose I do like seeing that it always looks like it could scoop things quite well. It's like it's an O, but it hasn't. It's a bit more interesting. It's missing a bit. And I suppose it's for cookie. That's a good word.
Cooking. Exactly. A cucumber.
Yeah, and crisps.
Exactly. All the cereal.
Yeah.
All the good things begin with C. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Was there full lists? I was sort of curious to know what came last.
Oh, I bet you can guess, can't you? I bet you can guess.
Is it Q?
Yeah. Who needs a Q? You don't really need a Q. Look at cucumber. That is perfectly okay without a Q.
That's true. I mean, the thing with Q is it always has to hang on to you, and it's like leave you alone to do its own thing.
Exactly.
You doesn't need you. Well, it does need you, but it doesn't need you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So hanger-oner, one of those hanger-oners.
Absolute hanger-oners. Exactly. And they're like an O with an extra bit. So it's like so complicated.
Greedy.
They're really high maintenance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, I didn't know that about C, but I think, I was going to say with oranges, you get vitamin C, and that's like for fighting illnesses and probably spiders. I don't really know, but it's. I wondered if now, since having all those oranges, have you ever been sick since? Have you been like just?
No, to be honest, I can't remember the last time. Yeah, I think I probably will live forever now because of all that vitamin C.
That's incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, we've learned so much from you already. So much. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I've got a question that I think you're the person that can absolutely answer this. I think you're the expert that this question needs. But it's actually two questions, but we'll get to that in a minute. Before we get to that, I've got a couple of admin questions. How do you feel about admin?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with admin. I mean, normally my knobbly bottom tailor is dealing with the admin, but it's Thursday. I can handle a bit of admin.
That's what a great tailor. They fix specific knobbly clothes and do your admin.
Amazing. I know. Yeah. Christopher is called. Well, obviously begins with the thing.
See, yeah, of course, yeah. Everyone needs a Christopher. I could do someone to tailor my clothes and do my admin at the same time. Does he do anything else?
It cleans my toilet sometimes. Sometimes prepares my breakfast chicken. For whatever you need, just Google it, Christopher. Great. You'll be able to find yourself one.
Well, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna see if there's a Christopher in my area. Well, listen, it's quite they're not easy questions, but it's necessary, I'm afraid, for us to kind of get on with the show. The first question is quite simply, what is this?
Oh my, I'm not sure I should say, Tiernan. Are you sure you want me to? It's a bit embarrassing. I mean, obviously the listeners can't see this, but I'll just try and describe it for them. It's a pair of your pants. You can't see it, listeners, but Tiernan I think he's holding up a pair of pants with pink spotty. Are they pink spotty bunny rabbits on them?
Yes, my favorite type of pant. I didn't realize this was a pair of pants, though.
Oh yes, this is a pair of pants, and you could have washed them. I can smell them from here. Dirty pants on, listeners. Honestly.
Yeah, I think maybe that's it. They're just so disgusting that they no longer look like pants.
Okay.
I did wonder. Yeah, that was after having quite a lot of. I nowhere near as many as you, but I tried to have sort of double my 5 a day in one day, and
Okay.
this may be the aftermath.
It may be, but maybe you should, yeah, consider popping them in the wash and or just in the bin. In the bin. They're
Yeah,
for those
yeah. I
pants.
don't want to ruin like the wash. Like I worry if I put these in the wash, they take over. They become like sort of the ruler of all the pants. They become like
That's
evil pant
true.
overlords.
That's true.
Mm.
Maybe just burn them. Burn the bunny pants.
Burn the bunny pants. I think that's probably a very safe, very sensible idea. Sometimes I think like pants in particular, but so many clothes, especially socks, smelly socks. Sometimes they're so disgusting. I'm amazed that like people don't use them to I don't know, like defend somewhere. Like you could cover a castle in smelly socks, no one would ever attack it.
It feels like a bit of a waste, doesn't it, really,
Mm.
when there's all these smelly socks wandering about, well, not wandering about, lying about, and,
Mm.
you know, no one's thought to do anything about it. Like, you know, there's wars going on all over the world. Maybe this is the key to world peace. Take the smelly socks, scare off all the baddies. So
It's a great idea. If you
you
just
could be onto something.
airdropped a whole load of smelly socks everywhere, people would be like, "Ugh, I'm going home. That's horrible."
Yeah, they'll
And
just go
they
home
just
to
leave the
bed,
area.
go home and have a cup of tea. They'll be like, you know, they're just
Yeah,
like, I can't be bothered now. So
yeah.
yeah, and it could end crime, obviously,
Oh
because you
yeah,
just,
yeah.
you know, the threat of being in a cell with smelly socks would just be too
That'd be
much.
horrible, really horrible,
Um,
really horrible. And I think really, if people instead of sort of burglar alarms or dogs or whatever, if they just hung a smelly sock
Smelly sock,
next to their
extra
most
smelly
valuable
socks.
things, no one would ever want
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Something to think about, definitely, isn't
it
it?
is something to think about. I may take this disgusting pair of pants and I'm trying to think what I should try
Well,
and sort of
yeah,
defend.
but actually don't waste them by burning
Mm.
them. And maybe hang them on your front door, outside your front door, to deter any, you know, any bad uns that are thinking of coming to, you know, rob you or something.
It's a very good idea. I'll tell you, my concern is that we have a very nice postman round here, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
would worry that I would open the door one day to find him just sort of knocked out from the horrible
But
stench.
actually, you don't need to worry about that, because don't you know, when postman's training includes
Whoa.
learning to deal with the smell of smelly pants, you know, in case anyone does something like this. So you'll find they know exactly how to deal with it. So yeah, you don't need to worry about your postman. It's all in the Royal Mail training, you see. So
That's
you're
amazing.
fine.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
that is great. That is really good to know. Thank you. And I will get hanging these pants on the door
good.
ASAP.
Let me
I
know how it
appreciate that.
goes.
I will do.
Cool.
I will do, definitely. Well, thank you. You answered that question so quickly and so perfectly. Thank you. Very helpfully as well. This next question is, it may require some thought. So I hope you're okay with this, but we'll see how we go. I'm afraid it does have to be answered before we can move on. But
Okay.
Emily Jane, would you rather none of your jumpers had holes for arms in them, or all of your trousers only had one trouser leg that you had to fit both legs into?
Hmm. That's a good one. So wait a minute. The jumper, you would have a head hole.
You would have a head hole, but no armholes. And the
Actually,
trouser, only one trouser leg.
okay. I think I go for the jumper.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that sounds quite handy actually. The holes are quite annoying, really. I think it'd keep your arms warm. And some days I just think I can't be bothered to use my arms. I mean, imagine all the work they do. So I just give them a day off, wear that jumper, job done. They deserve a bit of an R&R, don't they? A bit of a rest day, your arms.
You know what? It's a very. I agree. I'm going to throw in some curveballs. Firstly, what if you need to carry anything at all?
Well, I just use
That's
my mouth.
Oh, sure, that's a good idea. Yeah, you can put a shopping bag, carry the
Yeah, 'cause
handles in your mouth.
actually, I often practice like around the house, not using my arms for a whole day, just in case, God forbid, I ever you lose my arms. So I often just go about my business, just trying to cope with
It's a really
no.
good idea. It's a really good idea because I mean I often like lose my keys or I can't remember where I put my phone down. I think there's every chance one day I'll just wake up wherever I left my arms,
Exactly,
and now I
exactly.
can't
So
carry
just in
anything.
case, it's best. See, I am fully prepared. There's nothing I can't do with, without arms. So I
That is
can,
very good.
I can give. They're a bit overrated, if I'm honest.
Well,
So,
okay. Well, here you go. Let me give you a different curveball then on this one though. My worry is both arms like that, just your head out the top. What if, like, you're mistaken for a giant caterpillar?
well, do you know what? I don't think I'd mind being mistaken for a
Right.
giant caterpillar. I think that might be quite. I could sort of go. I could get famous from that, rich and famous from making appearances at caterpillar conferences all over the world.
Mm.
Um, so I don't see that as a bad thing, really.
That's
I'm
good. Yeah.
sure my kids would love it if I was a giant caterpillar. They'd be
Would
so
they?
proud. They'd be so proud. I'd probably,
But they'd probably get like, would they be annoyed? Because there'd be a point where like they're sort of like, "Mom, I want this, I want that," and you just be in a cocoon, so you'd be like, you
mm,
can't do anything. I mean,
just
that sounds
say,
good for you, but not for
just
them.
say, yeah, it's mummy's. This is mummy's time now.
Mm.
Deal with it on your own. So
Yeah,
until I come out. So
that's good. That's really good. Well, I think that's fair. I mean, because it's interesting. I sort of initially, I think with the trousers, with one trouser leg, I quite like the idea of having to jump everywhere. Um, I think initially putting them on would be annoying, but then jumping around
once you're
and
in, you're
yeah,
in. Yeah,
yeah, and you could almost like those little like you got your arms out, so you almost like work like a spinning top. Yeah, I reckon you could spin
yeah,
everywhere quite well.
yeah. That's a good point. But you're not selling it to me.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Sticking.
It's not my choice. It's your choice, and that's
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I know there are people out there who are trying to convince the government at the moment that we don't need two legs on trousers, and I have a
yes.
suspicion you might be one of those people. And I know what they're saying; it's better for the environment to use less, materials. But at the end of the day, it's nice to have those two legs free to do their own thing.
Yeah,
You
and using less materials on jumper arms would also be good for the planet. So either
well,
way,
yeah,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Well, no, thank you. I think that's a great answer. I think you've examined, you've really thought it through. You've really examined the question, and I think it's a very sensible answer. So thank you for going through those.
Anytime, anytime.
So listen, we've had this question. This is the important bit. We've had this question, and it has been sent in by Natalie the sheep, who says she is aged 5 billion rainbows old. Now, I don't know how
Wow.
you are with your rainbow age chart. Do you know?
Is it the equivalent to a year and 3 days per rainbow, or am I wrong? I'm a bit rusty.
It might be per. I think it's per. I don't know if it's per rainbow. I think it's per like several thousand, or maybe it's even. She's 5 billion rainbows. Because I'm guessing she's about 37.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm, I was thinking more 68, but
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it's double that. Maybe I've got the sort of. I always forget which ones billions are compared to millions or trillions or zillions.
oh, I never know how many zeros. Too many zeros on
Too many zeros.
You'll be
It's
there all
just
day.
not. It's a bit like we were talking about with the letters and stuff. It's like
Oh,
just give it up. Like
calm down, billion.
yeah, just
Enough.
sort it
We've
out.
seen enough. Stop at 3. That's all we need.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We should have
Thank
no
you.
more of 1,000 of anything.
God,
Silly.
no.
It's
No one can be
silly.
bothered with that. Silly.
Absolutely waste of time. Well, Natalie the sheep. I mean, it's also she's very old for a sheep. She's done very well as a sheep.
Yeah, definitely. And to get on the email and stuff, a 60-year-old sheep, 68-year-old sheep, that's good going, isn't it?
Very good. Hard to use a keyboard with like sheep hooves.
I imagine she uses a tongue, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Sheep, good, strong
Yes.
tongue.
Yes, that would be disgusting, but it would work, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, waterproof keyboard, I imagine. So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's a lot to think about. Well, she's for a sheep. She's got some big questions. So it's lovely of her to send them in.
Ready. I'm ready.
There's essentially two. It's kind of two to three questions. Would you like them asked all at once? Would you like them one at a time? Would you like them backwards? Would you like them in a weird high pitched voice? What would you like?
I think I am going to go one at a time because I haven't had quite enough coffee to deal with them all at once.
Sure.
I don't really like high-pitched voices.
Me either. No, I hate it.
I can't bear them. but you know, I'd quite like a posh voice. Could you have them in a posh voice so I feel like
Absolutely.
I can pretend I'm on Question Time or something, you know, important. Not that this isn't important, but you know,
Yes,
so
yes.
that would be nice if you don't mind, Tiernan.
No, I will happily do it in a post. I should say this is like a more important question time. That's exactly what this
Oh
podcast is.
God,
But I think you're
that's
right.
fine. That's fine.
So questions 1 and 2 are related, but we'll go for them one at a time. So my very posh voice. Do
Oh,
snakes fart?
that is a good question. And luckily, you've come to the right place here because I happen to be a bit of an expert in snake flatulence or
Wow.
lack thereof. Because I
Oh.
will tell you, I know now a lot of people don't know this, but snakes are actually very, very polite. I know they get a bit of a bad rep because of the hissing and things like that, but they're so polite. They would never fart. They're holding them all in all these years, which is quite a
Wow.
worry. Yeah, so you'd never hear a snake fart because they just hold it in. They're too polite. They're the type of snake, like if you accidentally trod on them, they would say sorry. You know, I did that to a python the other
Wow.
week, going into Tesco, tripped over a python, totally my fault. The python said sorry. So
I had
they
no idea about snake.
are
Is that
really,
can I assume then, because you know, the second part of this question, which I was quickly saying in a posh voice, but it was if so, where does it come out? But I wondered if, you know, snakes do hiss. Are they slowly releasing farts all the time? Like when a bouncy castle
yeah.
is deflating, it's like as it is that what
That would be simpler, to be honest, but and that would make a lot of sense. But unfortunately, it's something far more sinister is happening here. So over the years, snakes have been holding in these farts so much. Now they've evolved to have no release system. So one day, I think it's down for about 600 years time, all the snakes are going to explode from holding all this gas in. And it's quite a worry for environmentally and everything. So, you know, sensible people among us are sort of getting a bunker ready for that. That is how, that people are worried about global warming, but this is but it's all a bit hush hush because they don't want people to panic about this snake Armageddon.
It's worrying. I mean, I suppose as we're in the UK, you know, listeners hearing this, they may be in a country full of snakes. They may be on a planet full of snakes. They may be somewhere else. They may be a snake. I don't know, and I hope if they are, they're not too upset by this. But you know, we're okay. There's not many snakes in the UK, so I guess you've only got to be worried if you're near a zoo on that day.
There's grass snakes though. Grass snakes,
Yes.
you know, we have a couple of them here and there, but I think because they're all due to explode on the same day, it's the sheer mass of fumes, and it's going to be very, very smelly. Snake farts are renowned, you know, for being. You might have noticed snakes do smell.
Yes.
So that is why it's almost like seeping out of their skin a bit, the fart fumes.
Right.
You know, their diet is not great, is it? You know, what is it? Mice and insects, and depending on the snake, small elephants. What, you know, that's going to add to the smell. So that methane is all heading for us, and it's not going to be pretty. So
it's awful, and they've been holding it in for however long. It's going to have sort of fermented and gone really disgusting.
Exactly. So I'm sorry to break that news to you on sort of, you know, a comedy podcast, but I feel like it's an issue we should all be preparing for right now.
No, I think well, thank you. No, thank you for warning us, and hopefully we can all wear kind of snake protective suits or costumes.
Well, just try and maybe get snakes. We need to get them in and make them just release those farts. We need to convince them that it's okay as long as you say, "Pardon me," afterwards. Yes. It's fine. Just really, you know, you could just or go into another room. You need to give the snakes the confidence to just let that wind blow free.
That's a great idea. Is there, you know, I don't want to encourage listeners to go around stepping on snakes, but you tripped over that one at Tesco. Did it release a fart when you squished it?
No, they're so well trained in
wow.
it didn't do that. It's they're Their abdominal muscles are, are well trained. It wouldn't release.
Well, I suppose that.
Even if you tickle them, they do not.
Wow.
They will not. Yeah.
I was going to say, because they're pretty much all abdomen. They're like an abdomen with a head, aren't they? So it's like, wow.
All abdomen and muscle, pure, like polite muscle. That's what they are. Yeah.
Gosh, well, that's devastating news. Thank you. That's wow, that's big. There is a second part to this question. Well, it's a second question, I think, because you answered the second part to that question. In the snakes fart don't really come out from anywhere. It's quite some big news to take in that we're going to have to dodge explaining snakes. No.
I moved down a bit there. Sorry about that, Tiernan.
You're here as an expert. You've given us useful advice. That's what we need, and that's what the listeners need. But let me ask you this next question. Hopefully this doesn't have as catastrophic an answer, but who knows where this could go. So Natalie the sheep, the second question she's asked is, why do baboons have no hair on their bums?
Okay, that's a good question, actually. Well, I don't know if you know this, Tiernan, but there's a lot of pressure on the modern baboon to sort of keep their appearance looking perfect, keeping up with the latest trends and things like that. So one of the things, to be considered beautiful in the baboon world is to have a bald bottom. So I hate to tell you this, but they do shave their bottoms to keep up with the trends. And so there's a bit of a campaign at the moment to try get baboons to be more body positive and just not feel the pressure to go down the route of removing that bottom hair. So it's quite another sad story, I'm afraid.
I assume it's quite tricky shaving a bum when you're a baboon. It must be why all their bums are bright red, because they obviously don't shave them very well.
Yeah, it's quite sore. I mean, I know you shave your bottom, Tiernan, and we've chatted about this before, but obviously it's a bit easier as a human to shave that. But would you consider stop shaving your bottom to show the baboons
the problem, I have to shave my bottom because otherwise it becomes so hairy that I essentially get like a sort of tail like a skunk.
Okay.
Then it becomes very hard to put any trousers on.
But wouldn't it be quite, I mean, I think I'd quite like a tail like a skunk. I mean, you could plait it. Have you ever considered French plait?
Now you've said that, you could sort of plaiting bum hair is no, I'd never thought of that at all. That's a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, so maybe see the positives in this and inspire those baboons, Tiernan. You could be a trailblazer here. Don't, come up with some kind of slogan to the baboons. I can't think of one. Don't shave plait.
Don't shave plait.
That's really catchy.
I was trying to think
like marketing frame behind it.
Hairy bums, not scary. Bums. No.
Hairy, not no.
Because they're not scary, are they?
Not scary. You just want to. It'll come to us.
Be brave. Don't shave.
That's a good one.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And encourage the plait. You could hold workshops on plaiting bum hair and everything.
How do you feel? Because I don't want to suggest you've got a personal angle on this, but baboons' bums are quite knobbly, and obviously, if they didn't shave, we wouldn't notice how knobbly they are. Do you feel there's competition there? Would you prefer them to hide their knobbly bums? Because is it taking any of your fame away?
Okay, you've caught me out a bit here because I mean, as well as caring about the baboons, I have got a bit of a ulterior motive to being on the society campaigning for body positivity in baboons, and that is one of them. I'm ashamed to say that once I was at an event about to come out onto the stage, my knobbly bottom, and Dave the baboon, do you know Dave?
Yeah.
Dave the baboon. He came on after me and totally stole the show. Everyone forgot about my knobbly bottom and they were just obsessed with this glorious shaved bottom of Dave's. So yeah, I'll be honest. This is another reason for me wanting this is I don't want the competition. I can't have the competition. Not after all the work I put into keeping those knobbles shiny and and in the public eye. So
yes, but not actually in people's eyes. That is disgusting. Yeah,
yes.
don't. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's fair though. It's fair. I think you're allowed to feel these things, and baboons have had knobbly bottoms for too long. Really, if anything, they
Exactly.
it's time to let us humans have
Yeah.
a go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think you've answered those brilliantly. Thank you. I hope Natalie the sheep is happy. I don't know how she's going to listen to this. I don't know how she'll get the headphones in, but hopefully there is some sort of sheep sound system that. Yeah. Well, listen, Emily Jane, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been lovely to have you here. Now, I know obviously you are going around with your knobbly bottom and promoting knobbly bottoms, but also, as you mentioned earlier, you do have knobbly bottom books too, which are not about knobbly bottoms, but they are about knobbly bottom.
I do. They're about the village of Knobbly Bottom.
Right.
Obviously, not a bum with knobbles on. And it's actually, so it's a village it seems very, very boring. So a girl called Maggie moves there with her family, and she thinks it's the most boring village in the world. But then strange things start happening. She meets some strange characters, Nan Helsing and Gary, the great and evil child eater. Don't worry, he's a vegan, so we're okay.
Yeah.
Not too scary. And the worst of all, she meets some sheep who have fangs and red eyes and are, real bad uns. And they're trying to take over the world, of course. Classic baddie. So she makes friends with Fred next door, and they need to try and stop this. So, and then there's the second book. Just as they think they've sorted out the vampire sheep, some pigs start turning into zombies, so they can't cut a break. They can't cut a break.
Classic.
Yeah, there is no bums or knobs in the book. You'll be glad to know.
Thank goodness for that. Thank you. So, well, no, I haven't read the second one. The first one is absolutely hilarious, and it's and I did also. I should have mentioned, because obviously the first one, which is about vampire sheep, our question today is from Natalie the sheep. She didn't specify she was a vampire. Do you think it was all right to?
Yeah, she could be. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a trap. It might be one of the vampire sheep that got away. Maybe she's just fishing for information, but let's hope not.
Let's hope not. Well, listen, all the listeners can get those books. I think wherever books are available, good bookshops, bad bookshops, sort of neutral bookshops.
Exactly. Anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere. That's fantastic. Well, brilliant. Well, listen, good luck with the books. Good luck with the knobbly bottom. And thank you so much for answering questions today, and hopefully we'll catch you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Goats.
Thanks so much to Emily Jane Clark for taking time out of writing her amazing books to answer Natalie the sheep's question this week. Natalie, I do hope you liked your answer, but if not, please put any complaints you have on a baboon's bottom, and then they'll shave it off, and I'll never have to see it. As we mentioned, Emily Jane Clark is the author of the Beasts of Knobbly Bottom books, Attack of the Vampire Sheep and Rise of the Zombie Pigs, which you can get at all places that books live, and you should, because they are brilliantly funny stories. Or you can enter our competition to win a bundle of both books by sending your idea for a hilarious animal monster, and the funniest 3 entries will win. You can do that by getting your sludgy wrinkle butts, sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email me your entries to podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk, but it is for UK and Ireland entries only. Very sorry, everyone else around the world and in space. Also, that is, of course, the way to send in any questions that you have that need answering or anything else at all. And please do check out our Comedy Club for Kids website at comedyclubforkids.co.uk with details of our live shows. Yes, I know. So, listeners, while you were listening to that, I have been looking in my knobbly bottom guide to ghoulish farmyard animals. And this is indeed, I'm afraid to say, a ghost goat. We're being haunted by a ghost goat here at Comedy Club for Kids HQ. Not sure where it's come from, but apparently they do just eat everything. But like a ghost, they can't actually eat anything. I'm not really sure how that works, but I've read all the instructions, and I've got here some ghost cheese which they just sold in the local shops. I just asked for some ghost cheese, they gave me this, and hopefully it will eat this, and then that should neutralize everything it's eaten so far, so it'll just give me back all the letters and the fridge and all that sort of stuff, and maybe leave me alone. So here, ghost, here's some ghost cheese. Is it meant to vomit like that? I'm sure I gave it the ghost cheese. I thought it was just meant to sort of disappear and leave me with all my letters. Why is it still vomiting? Oh no, it says goat's cheese on this packet, not ghost cheese. Oh, I hope I haven't harmed the ghost goat. Oh, now there's ghost and goat and goat's cheese and letters everywhere. That is disgusting. A letter at this time of day, which is actually a perfectly reasonable time for a letter to arrive. Let me wipe the goat's cheese from my eyes and have a look. Oh no, it says, "We know you have our pet ghost. Please bring him back or you'll be sorry. We aren't kidding, except we are because we're goats. Yours, Comedy Club for Kids, but the goats one, you know what I'm bleating about. P.S. Comedy Club for Squids say stop taking their jellyfish listeners." Give him back. Uh-oh. Well, I will, but I'm not sure they're going to be happy. Guess I better spend the rest of the day scraping ghost goat bits into a bag. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.